So I've noticed I have a couple of students who tend to be very flexible. You
Yes.
know, like they they're very able to do many things, and like flexibility doesn't seem to be the issue. However, there's something about their lower back that it's like all joined lower back, hip, and legs, and there's like this little hump there, and they kind of abuse like shoulder flexibility and maybe hamstring flexibility, but I just don't see any movement happening in that lower back sort of area. You know, like a downward facing dog where you can really see the length of the back. I just don't see that happening. Even when they bend their knees, a little bit it starts to happen, but it just looks like it's all very stuck
So
there.
is it a secondary curve that you're seeing when you see
Yeah.
a hump? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes
So, any thoughts on how to work with that sort of?
okay. I'll tell you something that I was aware of in my yoga class and see if you think this relates. Because when we did coming from very often, you okay? Yeah, she very often starts the class by coming into that and then back again. And I was aware that it always caught me across there. And then more recently, with all the work that I've been doing now for years with this, but something actually shifted. And I can now get that bend happening from in here so that I can go into that movement and it no longer catches here. So something is integrated, and something that was bending from there is now bending from, I don't know, somewhere further down. I'm not
That's
even
exactly it.
That's
That's
exactly,
exactly it.
yes. So, and to be quite honest, I'm not entirely sure what's made the difference, except that all the time. And I think one of the things it might be is all this work we've been doing on LSIT, of actually really opening up, because, I mean, together, haven't we? We've been doing lots of work on this. And I think something has freed up through doing that then has opened up something in here. That's my hunch on it, on what's actually made the difference.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And then that sort of opening up the whole, and funny enough, like the top of my back is, if I do a ripple through, there's movement here that wasn't happening before. And whether that has come out of the extra movement here, I'm not sure, but something somehow here has freed up as well, which is interesting.
That makes sense. Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, it's sort of paradoxical, isn't it, that it's working the LSIT is, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is that's done it.
Okay.
Must be
Okay.
stabilizing the front of the spine. I don't know. Mecca, you wanted to add to it. Let's just catch everybody up. What this
Actually, I have another.
Yeah, go on then. Yes,
I have another question concerning the book.
Yes.
I was working through. It was actually the only thing I could do was reading, which was good. I never have time for that otherwise. But I was working through chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, more or less.
Yes.
Yeah, and what I found out, I mean, the leg stuff, the foot stuff, and then this pull, the old pull. I pull the iliac spine back and right up off the outer leg, up off the outer knee. I wonder if this whole, I mean, when we use now the reverse pull, if this pull up off the outer knee is actually now not necessary anymore, because anyways, you pull it from back to front and then the thighs somehow organize themselves. So if I bend my knees, the knees come forward parallel. But I wonder how you deal with this pull now.
Yes, I haven't. Thank you for bringing this one up because I've been dodging this question. It's, I think you're probably right. I haven't fully addressed it. But if one is doing that pull back and up, are we doing exactly the same thing somehow by thinking here and widening at the same time? And I suspect we are, because it does seem to be just stretching that. It certainly has, because there's an up element to it as well. Sort of hamstring. We were playing this morning with the Australians, the difference between taking sitting bones to knees and taking knees to sitting bones. And knees to sitting bones just brings in that length. It brings the heels in, whereas somehow sitting bones to knees is sort of more localized. Taking that one that way, and if you put that with it, I suspect that the two together. I've just answered my own question. Thank you. I think it's the two together that do it. That when you get that,
It's
going and
the
that,
two together.
Yes, that's my sense right now.
Okay.
Would everybody else like to have a play with this and see whether you agree?
I just remember when I went through this leg stuff, and that this pull up off the outer knee was quite relevant for me, and also for the pupils I was working with, to really lift the torso off the legs.
Yes.
And I just have the sense that you were just saying that somehow it's not necessary, but I'm not sure if it's my process, which is at another stage now, or if it's theoretically sensible or somehow.
Oh, that
Yeah,
may be so.
I don't know.
It may be that we all have a pupil sometime in the future who absolutely needs to think up off the outside of the knee.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly playing with it now. I always found that one quite strenuous to do myself. It sort of feels like quite hard work to draw that one up. Whereas if one thinks, yes, I'm adoring a minute, if one thinks knee to sitting bone and then that, it sort of happens more as a flow.
Mm.
Well, so the question for everybody else is, instead of thinking that up out of the outside knee movement that we've done before, instead to think backs of knees to sitting bones and PSAS to ASAS. And the question is, does that then do the same thing and counter rotate the thighs?
I was just wondering, did any one of you try to introduce the pelvic pulse with a new pupil with directly this, pulling this forward? Because I didn't so far. And I'm just wondering, because it is quite complex to find these back iliac spine and then the concept of pulling it forward. So I'm just wondering if it's not just a matter of finding what's the key to reach the pupil, and then we have all these different angles, and you can try what works best with the pupil.
Well, some of my new groups have tried it already with pupils. There's 2 or 3 people who just went straight out and did it with pupils, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really good to hear. There's a few people now who've done it and just taught it straight to a pupil. Back to my question. So has anyone tried it? And so backs of knees to sitting bones and PSAS to ASAS, and does it, if you do the two together, does it then counter rotate the thighs? And for me, it does, which I can tell because it pulls my knees apart, because otherwise my knees tend to fall together. So for me, it's quite evident. I just demonstrate, there's my knees. And if I put in that and that, you see my knees promptly separate.
Yeah, for me it does too.
Great.
It's just difficult to distinguish, to be precise, but maybe that's not so important. But actually, yeah, my knees go forward when I add them together. They don't fall in.
Good, thank you. Anyone else like to feedback on that one? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
great. Mary, what do you think?
I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me, truthfully.
Jury's out.
But
Okay,
yeah,
that's all right.
but I don't feel like my knees are falling in. So that's a good sign.
Love your pink wall, by the way. Is that new?
No, this is I'm in my house in Buenos Aires.
Right, it's gorgeous.
Thanks.
Okay. Iffy, Murray, and Anadora, are you feeling okay today?
Yeah.
Good. You're over your corona. Yeah.
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 Mm.
You're okay. Have you had it as well?
No.
No.
I just got the news that my husband is negative today, first day. He just did the test, so, but we didn't have it. No,
He had
but
it.
my cold is better. My cold is gone. So.
Good, good. Murray, you're okay, are you?
Yeah, I haven't had it. I've been surrounded by it, but haven't had it.
Trust. Okay, so let's start in child's pose. To some extent, this session is about the neck, and to some extent, it's just having fun. So I'm carrying on with some of the themes we've been working with. So let's start in child's pose and do some breathing. It's anyway good for colds, ex-colds, and current colds. So it's perhaps difficult to think about the eyes in child's pose, but just being aware of the world being a bit blurry. Maybe there is stuff you can see even in child's pose. I realize I can see my toes quite clearly. We're just taking in what's focused and what's not focused. Letting the eyes move around gently, maybe just in micro, but being aware that even in this place, the eyes are seeing. And the peripheral vision may be sharper than the focused vision and the central vision in this position. Just receiving the light and shade in this position, the different qualities of it, the different distances. Not a place we're probably used to paying visual attention. And why not? Being from the back of the head. And being aware of the body breathing. Letting the out breath be long. Letting the in-breath find its own way in. Letting the breath lengthen down the back to the lower back and to the hips. And letting it find its own way into the pelvic floor. Just coming to quiet. Letting the face soften, particularly those who are feeling ill or with a cold. Just letting the face soften and trusting the balance to fall through the nose, right? Not getting involved in the nose or anywhere that's hurting. Being aware of the legs folded underneath us. Letting the breath go right down to the toes. And being aware of the arms as well. With the breath moving into the arms, right to the fingertips. Now being aware of the vestibular directions. Up, down, out through the crown of the head and to the wall opposite, down the back and out the tail. Into the forward back, going down from the nose down into the earth and up from the occiput to the sky. And side to side. And then let the up line through the top of the head and the back line through the occiput start leading the head forwards. forwards and up. So that the back of the neck lengthens and the head comes just gently off the floor. Nothing else moves yet, just the head comes up a bit. Just letting the head lengthen to come up and then let it come down again. And again, just thinking those vestibular lines and let the head follow forwards and up. Bless you.
Thank you. Oops.
And again, just let the head come down again. And again, just find those vestibular directions. Think them first. And then let the head follow, forwards and up. Lengthening the whole neck, and then the neck, the head's leading, the neck's following. And the upper thoracic is following. The hips are trying to stay where they are. And gradually, the spine is being pulled after the head, up off the floor. And then don't get all the way, but come back again. Let the psoas and the deep hip rotators and the PSAS to ASAS lead you back again. I'm just doing that a couple of times, just letting the vestibular directions lead. Forwards and up to let the head lengthen. Forwards and up, and the neck follows, and then the thoracic spine follows, vertebra by vertebra. The hips opposing it. And there's really no weight on the hands, hardly any weight, well, there's some, but hardly any weight on the hands. As the arms just unfold, and then just taking that psoas back and up from PSAS to ASAS to fold ourselves back again. Just letting the neck unfold, and then the upper back, and then the mid back. Then finally the lower back and the hips follow. And then you can unfold into plank, just letting the toes tuck under and the heels extend away, the head's going away from the heels. And then we just fold back again, let the knees drop again. Letting the psoas and the PSAS to ASAS fold us back. And again. Head leads, works follows, unfolding into plank. The next time you're in plank, going up into a dog by thinking the psoas back and up. And from dog, you're going to put one foot up in the air, just send one toe up so the knee bends and then straightens above you, and let it tip over a little bit to the right to behind you so that it makes a scorpion. And then take that foot back in, and the knee, if you bring the psoas in, think PSAS to ASAS, and bring the knee across so it touches the opposite elbow. and then take it back up in the air, and do that a few times. So all the time we're working that head is lengthening. And those lower body pulls are working. And as you come forwards with the knee to the elbow, the head is still lengthening forwards out of the top of the neck. You might do 4 or 5 of them. When you let the leg fall behind you, letting the front of the hip open. And then put that leg down. Everybody okay with this move? And then we'll come back down. Okay? What's a question? And come back down and take a little rest before we do it on the other side. And when you're ready, just finding those vestibular directions again, forwards from the head and up to the occiput. Just letting the head lead. Those vestibular directions lead just to begin to pull on to traction the upper thoracic and then the middle thoracic and then the lower thoracic so that the whole spine extends as you come forward and then extending into plank. Working those pulls posterior to anterior spines and the psoas to come up into the dog posture. Keeping the PSAS to ASAS going so you don't let the lower body drop forwards. You stay you keep that beautiful line down the back. And then taking the leg up in the air and extending over into scorpion, just opening the front of the hip. And then working those pulls to take the knee forwards and the head also leading forwards to take you forwards so that the knee touches the opposite elbow. And then taking that foot, the toe leads up into the air, the front of the hip opens. Extending the toe up into the air, and then the toe leads back so the front of the hip is pulled open. And then the knee leads forwards and the head leads forwards. Keeping the arm lines working, of course, so that you keep strong in the arms. Keeping not just in the outside lines, but also in the inside lines. So that both the inside and the outside of the palm is active. And then when you've done 4 or 5, putting the leg back and folding back into child's pose. And when you're ready, turning over, you okay there, Sarah? Yeah, good. And when you're ready, coming over onto your back. And we're going to go and do some dreaded ab crunches. That thing that Alexander teachers hate and disapprove of. And let's actually explore them. So the first thing is we want to explore how to bring the neck up, because of course in your traditional ab crunch you just sort of completely crunch the front of the body. So of course, we're going to think the head long, like we've just been doing. And you can put your hands under your head, but we're to help the neck, support it. But just thinking that neck long, and let it go away from you as far as possible. The elbows, of course, open. So you've got the width across the back. The psoas is coming back and up as the head lengthens away. You might notice that the pubococcygeals want to come forwards, the psoas want to lengthen, and the whole thing wants to lengthen. So we've got the knees going away, the feet supporting you, and then the head lengthening away in the other direction. And with that going, you've got the psoas supporting the back, and then how much can you then bring the head up, but still keeping this curve going to actually work the front of the body in it, and then take it down again. Does that make sense?
Penelope, you have your hands under your head?
Yes, I have. You don't have to. But I think it's tremendous. The head is so heavy on the neck in this position that I think it's just fairer on our necks. So you're just thinking that neck long. Well, you can do it without and see how it goes. Thinking neck long, but the neck is just taking too much strain. I don't like it without. The neck is just thinking long, and that lengthening is then drawing the lower back onto the floor and working the psoas and working the pubococcygeals forwards. So it's almost as if we could come into a little bridge while we were doing the same thing, but we're not coming into the bridge. We're just doing the longest possible arc to come up into a curl. And then coming down as carefully. You okay there, Marie?
Yeah.
I'll just do a few of those, just thinking the head, taking time at the end of each one to think that vestibular direction out from the top of the head to the wall opposite, and the one from the nose. So using the same directions we were using a moment ago, just the other way up. And always the head is thinking long, and that's drawing the lower body strong. Drawing the lower body to uncurl the lumbar spine and work the psoas. And then the abs will work at the front. You will feel your abs working, but they're the last ones to engage rather than the first. I suspect that most people, when they do this sort of move, they engage the abs first and don't really engage anything else. Whereas here the abs are the last ones into play. Keeping that neck as long as possible, the head making the widest, the biggest possible trajectory.
Excuse me, Penelope, can you say the directions for the arms again? Because I noticed my elbows go a little bit together when I come up,
Yes.
And then they go back again when I land on the floor.
Yes, I think that's exactly what they do. I completely agree. Because if we kept them wide, it would actually keep us back.
Yeah, okay.
So, in terms of the serratus anterior, after all, is working to take the elbows and the shoulders forwards. And I think that's needed. For those who want, you can also bring the feet off the floor so the knees are in the air. This becomes a bit harder and works the abs a bit more. Which if anyone wants to push the boat out, they can. I think for the moment, actually, we'll leave the knees on the floor. And just let that, because there's more of a sense with the knees of the feet on the floor, of that whole body extending back and up. We're getting the widest possible. We're making a circle with the body, taking it down slowly. Yeah. Okay, very good. So here's a counter pose to that. We're going to start on now sitting up. And we're going to sit on your bums with your hands behind. And that. Not touching. And then the other side. We're coming into a sort of one-legged back plank with the legs bent.
Are your
That's it.
fingers facing towards your feet?
Fingers are facing towards the feet, yeah. And the lower legs come to vertical, or a little bit beyond vertical, actually, almost. That's it. And then down again, and if possible, don't let your bum down. So you're just, again, think PSAS to ASAS in this. And so as to fold you back again. And the head and the hand are leading up and back. But the PSAS to ASAS, as well as the psoas, we really bring that bum up very lightly, so that it's not a strain to get your bum up into this reverse plank, or whatever you call this position. Being aware of the weight into the feet, into the big toes, that lower body opening and closing. As usual, that dialogue between the PSAS to ASAS and the psoas. And how are the arm muscles working in this? Are we still getting that? The deep back arm line, of course, is still working. And the front arm line is still working. Helping support the arm into the shoulder on each side. Okay. Just put a bit more light on me. So let's go from there into a Superman. Remember Superman? So you're going to lie on the floor and put your hands out in front of you. And then everything comes up together. So this feeds into what your question earlier, Sarah, about the catch in the lower back. So the more we don't come up from the lower back, but the more we come up from the base of the hips, the bum, inside the bum. So again, getting PSAS to ASAS, psoas going up inside. And then I can do this and I'm not feeling that lower back. And can we breathe in this position as we fly through the air, being Superman with our cloak streaming behind us? Again, if you really get the breath right down into the lower back in this position, what difference does it make? Still, your vestibular system is working. The head is coming forwards and up with the front arm, the front vestibular system, the front vestibular line and the top one. And lower it when you're ready.
Sorry, Penelope, can you repeat the thought process there?
Okay, so we've got the head is leading out, same as we did initially with the vestibular system. The one going, the up-down line taking the head in that direction, and we've also got the occiput coming up. So that's taking this end of you up. And then in this end, you've got PSAS to ASAS and the psoas. And then, what was I thinking up the underside of the legs, isn't one? I didn't say that, but a streaming sense down the body and into the toes, which takes them up in the air. And then the whole thing is lengthening. The fingers are, underside of the fingers are lengthening, the underside of the toes, or the top side of the toes rather, are lengthening. And this is all keeping this bit together. Does that make sense, Sarah?
Yes, yes. I guess my previous training was, like thinking about lengthening the coccyx down and even though you're coming into an arch, you don't allow that secondary curve. You don't kind of push into it. Right? So like the image is more than a break like this in the back, like that, a very wide, long arc.
Yes, I completely agree. That's exactly what we're after. And I think rather than thinking coccyx down, I'm thinking PSAS to ASAS.
Okay.
But I mean, one could just, again, play with that. Yeah, and the sense of pubococcygeals forwards even in this position is the same as coccyx down, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, so again, you're looking to avoid that break.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I have
Awesome.
actually an observation. Sorry.
I say, Sarah, did it look all right?
Yes. Thank you.
Micah.
I have an observation there. I think the last time we did that a year ago or something, I couldn't equally lift both of my legs up in the air.
Yeah.
And now I feel it's possible.
Wow.
Very little, but it's possible. But because, and I also feel the inner thighs, the adductors are tremendously working like hell. And I feel that the more they are engaged, the more I can leave the lower back and lower back out of the game.
Yeah.
So that this transition is actually possible. And before a year ago, it was kind of blocked, or there was no fluent access.
Yeah.
So now I can feel this transition kind of.
That's lovely. And again, the adductors are part of that deep front line. So you're really actioning the front of the back, aren't you? And then the back of the back can open out in the way we're describing.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. Mari.
Yeah, if I don't take care, then I immediately get back pain. So it's very fragile, this whole process. But yeah, just an observation.
To me, one of the most important things is this PSIS that you mentioned, but also the back of the armpits.
Yeah.
And that a sense of it rounding around at the back of the armpits also helps to keep from breaking in the lower back and keep the lower back open, but also strong.
Yes.
The whole thing, like I just picture that back triangle also is so helpful for me.
That's nice. Thank you for bringing that one in. At any given moment, if I said all the directions, we'd be here all day. So, yes, but it's like that is such a beautiful direction. Yeah. Good. Lovely. Let's do low boat to high boat then again. So you can do this one on a chair, as we've been doing in the last couple of weeks, or you can do it on the ground. So you can either do it like that, or you can come to the ground, which I could do properly last night. Let's see if I can do it today. Yeah, so find the position you want to do it in. And again, what we're doing is we're really working the psoas to fold the body. This is active hip folds. So you can start in a high boat and then go down into the low boat, and again using that psoas to pull yourself back up into the high boat. Well, we all struggled with this on the ground a few weeks ago, and we can do it now. So that's a shift. Yeah. Gosh. A lovely smooth movement, Iffy. Beautiful. Anyone else feeling stronger at that than they used to? Yeah. Yeah, Micah, yes. Lovely. So let's put 2 of the moves we've done today together. So we can go from the scorpion into the crab and back again. So we're coming into the dog, up into the scorpion, and then over into the dog, over into the crab, and back up into the scorpion on the other side, and then over and back up into the scorpion. So just play. It's however it works for you. You can take the knee forwards and back again, or just play at putting these together. Because I know we've tried the plank roll in the past, and that's been a bit difficult for some people. So this is maybe a halfway house. So you're tipping that leg. Once you get the leg up in the air, you're tipping it behind you into the scorpion, and then letting yourself roll with it to land into the crab.
And now? No, wait. Duck, 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 duck. Das und das geht rum. Duck, 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 duck. So das Bein wieder.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So let's go from prone to cobra and back, which
Penelope,
yes.
good preparation.
Uh-huh.
Because without doing this before, I
Yes.
wouldn't have been able to do it because I would have had in my head it doesn't work.
Right.
But now I knew, okay, I did it before, it has to work.
Because we've done that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
Good. I'm pleased. Excellent. Let's come back into prone this time, with the hands next to the breasts. In fact, let's put the hands flat on the ground to start with. Just put the hands on the ground in prone, with the elbows out and the hands forward, so the the arms are making a right angle, the elbows are making a right angle. Yeah, that's it. And then just think those vestibular directions. You're going to think the PSAS to ASAS again and the psoas. So that the coccyx is pointing down, the pubococcygeals are coming forwards. And if you just send your toes away, just the same as we did for Superman a moment ago, just sending your toes away and take each leg a little bit up in the air. We should have done this as preparation for Superman, actually, I realized, never mind. And then just finding those vestibular directions, the head going forwards from the top of the head and also up from the occiput. And the head lengthens away with the neck staying as long as possible, keeping working the toes in the other direction. And the neck stays long. Keep working the PSAS to ASAS and the psoas. And just see how far your head comes up. It may just not come very far at all. And wherever it comes to, can you turn it from side to side like a baby does when it comes up? And then let it come down again and go again. And again, just from prone, sending the toes away behind you. Working the PSAS to ASAS, the psoas back and up. So that lower back is uncurling, and then finding your vestibular directions. Forwards along from the top of the head horizontally, from the occiput back and up. And then just let those vestibular directions float the head up in the air. The lower body is working, PSAS to ASAS, toes lengthening way along the ground. And that's supporting the torso to come up. And again, can you breathe in this position? There's not very much weight on the ground. You could lift the hands. We definitely should have done this one before Superman. Let's make a note of that. That's it. And then down again. And now bring the hands back to being by the breasts. The elbows are going straight back up in the air. Straight up in the air. And the same again, just finding the toes lengthening way behind you and the coccyx lengthening way behind you. PSAS to ASAS, psoas backing up. Vestibular directions, streaming away forwards and up. And leave the weight off the hands for as long as you can. But just let as the body comes up, still the lower body is working. So the hands start to take the energy into them until the body is pressed off the ground. And then you can fold in the middle, do an active hip fold to come back into child's pose. And take a moment in child's pose to find yourself, just find the back. And then let those vestibular directions lead you back again, leading the head forwards and up, and taking you up into all fours, and then folding you back down, taking you down into cobra, and then lowering you back to the ground so that you come back into prone. Everybody okay with that? And just do that a few times at your own speed. Keeping the elbows up. Taking the time to do the thinking before you start. So the lower back is supported. The feet are going, streaming away. The underside of the leg is lengthening away. And when you come up off the mat, staying without the weight in the hands for as long as possible. So are you going through Cobra all right? Everybody managing to go through the Cobra each time? That's it. From there, Mari, you could let the hips come forwards to take yourself down into Cobra, and then to bend the arms. So you don't have to, then you bend the arms to lower yourself down. That's it. And this, I guess, is an easier version of what you were doing last week, Sarah, wasn't it? Which is going from plank forwards into Cobra. Is that right? I can't remember quite how it worked. But okay, so coming back to the tabletop and all fours position. I'm just going to So what we're going to do is I'll just demonstrate this one first because it's an unfamiliar one. So we're going to come up a little bit by bringing the psoas up and back just to come a little bit off the floor, and then swivel. One hand goes up in the air, and actually it's the elbow that's supposed to come up on this one. Elbow up and the foot just slides out along the ground. And then coming slowly back onto all fours, but not letting the knees touch. And then again, the other side, the elbow comes up, the body swivels, the elbow comes up, and the foot slides out. And then come back again. That makes sense? So the knees come off, elbow comes up, foot comes out. Round. Knees don't touch, elbow comes up, foot comes out, and down. That's it. And you can even poke when the one foot is out to is pointing forwards, you can take the other knee up in the air. So the other knee points up because it could point forwards. But that knee, you can open the body out so that knee actually points upwards. You're really doing a whole rotation with the lower body. So Sarah, I confess I got some of those. I was inspired by what you said last week about you being to a class for animal moves. So I Googled animal moves and got this YouTube video which said 50 animal moves. So some of them have come off that.
I sure wish my teacher broke it down like this, though.
Yes, well, I mean, the YouTube video didn't. It just demonstrated them, 30-second clip each. So this one, let's see if I can demonstrate it. And I can't remember what animals these are supposed to be. I'm not very good at it yet because I just had a go at it last night. But you're basically starting from a kneeling position and you're moving forwards by letting one knee go down and sort of drag you forwards so that the other knee then comes up.
I think an alternative that I've seen for that, I don't know if you'd like, would be for the leg to come around instead of straight forward.
Right, I think there's various variants of it. So can you demonstrate?
I don't know if I'm up for it today, but I'll try.
Thank you, Penelope.
Okay.
Bye. Have to go.
Sorry.
Hi.
Bye.
Sorry, don't have much space.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah.
You didn't have to come down to your knee because that could be a little hard on the knee.
Yes, it takes more control. This one's actually easier, isn't it? So there's more control.
You can just stay up if you like.
Yes, and one doesn't have to come as far down. You're right. Sweet. Yes, I need to do more working this one out. That's was a bit ambitious to put this one in without practicing it for a week.
It's inspired on the Aikido walk, I think this, which is more like, not that I'm an expert, but it's this one. Wait, how is it? Something like this? I forgot. Here, yeah.
Yes, that looks.
And then you bring the hip forward.
Yeah, that's actually makes it a bit easier actually. So
But you have to switch the sort of swivel the hip. I'm no expert at this, but there's this coming down. It has more of
a tilt, of a swing to it.
Yeah, here, this. I think this move. Here, and then it comes down, and then it. I'm sorry. There, and then, but as you kind of turn, so bring it, you're there, and then, yeah, it's kind of going side to there, sort of, and then, but you have to bring the foot underneath. Yes. That's a nice variation.
So lots to play with there. Maybe I'll master that by the time we
I'll think about it and see if I can figure out the steps to break it down.
Right, yes. Anyway, fun to play with there. Let's do some bear crawls, which again we've not done before. And they're a real fitness move. So they're a bit based on the one we've just done, not that one, but the previous one, in that you're going to come into all fours and just bring the knees off. So this is all about supporting this region here. And it's also about really supporting the arms, because then can you take one leg and one hand up and gently put them down, so that how slowly can you crawl forward, and you're stabilizing in the back, not bracing in the back. And if you really want to challenge yourself, put something on your back and it shouldn't tip off. So again, really letting that, the arm, you were stabilizing through each arm, each leg as you do it. And the back isn't tipping from side to side. The back is staying stable. And when you've got to the end of your mat, you can go backwards. Ooh, I'm puffing. How are you doing? Yeah. Good. So how high can you start taking that hand off the ground, Anadora? The one that's sliding forwards, can you actually lift it and put it down gently? But that's, the knees are moving beautifully.
What should my hands do? I didn't get it.
So the hands, your hand at the moment is sliding forwards. Is it touching or is it off the ground?
It's getting off the ground.
Getting off the ground, that's fantastic. Yes, the more I do this, the higher I can lift that hand off the ground. I couldn't lift it very far at all to start with.
I can do that. I mean, can even do like that.
That's right. So you can do a lovely cat lift where the wrist comes up and then the wrist comes down. So you can do a lovely cat movement with the front hand, and that again brings in a quality. So your front hand is doing that movement, which brings a nice quality to it. Yes. Okay. Let's just get our breath back by just doing that.
But the knees stay off the ground all the time.
Knees stay off the ground the whole time. Yeah. Yes, this one's one that's beloved of fitness calisthenic type people. They do.
The knees are off the ground.
The knees are off the ground. One knee.
Yes.
Oh, one knee.
So both knees are off the ground. The knees never touch. So the knees,
They're on the ground. I mean, one knee is on the ground.
no, both knees are off the ground. That's the point.
Oh, I didn't see that. So you're on your toes.
Yeah, you're on your toes the whole time.
Oh, right. I didn't see that. Okay.
Yes, that's the crucial bit. I thought you would have.
No, this is much more
That's right. So
difficult.
it's much harder, you see. That's it. Now you're doing it. Yes. And you're lifting the opposite hand and leg each time. You're lifting the opposite hand and leg together.
Okay, this I have to work out. This is different.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
You didn't get that, right? Did everybody else get that all right? Yes, we've got that. Yeah. The hands are because then it's a much tougher move, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
That's why I was demonstrating with the box on the back, because again, most people they'll tilt, you see, when that happens. And you've really got to keep this part stable. So that the knees are always off the ground, and see that hand and that foot are off, and then they come forward, and everything is staying off the ground. And the game is to do it as slow as you can.
Okay, this is harder to do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But yeah, so that's the challenge.
Okay.
Let's come back to our L sit, just because we're sitting straight forward. And just thinking pubococcygeals forwards, PSAS to ASAS. Thinking that back line of the body, lengthening, and of course the head is then lengthening up as well. We're adding in the thought of the head today. And then just drawing that psoas up and back. And can I just lift one leg and then the other leg? Okay. And now let's do it with the hands as well. Now we've demonstrated we can lift the legs. So your hands are by your bum and you just draw the body up and back. So again, you're drawing the bum off the ground and then seeing if you can lift each leg in turn. And the really strong, perhaps Sarah can lift both together, but I can't, not yet. So that's the goal. There we go. Good for you. Yes. One day I'll get to do that. But so just take it in as pulse it as you need. Just finding that psoas up and back, finding that strong sit before you start, sending the hands down, pulling the psoas back and up to you pull the bum behind your hands, doing that, and then see if you can use the psoas to lift each leg in turn and put them down. And week by week, I just get a little bit better at this, but there's still a long way to go. And just do a few of them.
Are you with both legs in the air?
I'm just doing one at a time, like that.
So you have your hands here. You lift from both your hands. You put your bum behind, and then
That's right. And now lift one leg up in the air from there, with your bum off the ground.
off the ground.
So your bum is off the ground.
Okay, can't do that.
Yes, great. This is why just starting with it on the ground there, and just lifting the legs on the ground is a starting point, and doing that is challenging enough. This is the stages to L-sit. There we go. So you can you do that with both legs in turn, Anadora? And you're not, of course, tilting back, because it's easy to do it. If we tilt back, it's dead easy. And the game is to stay with the torso.
Yeah, I can do it when I'm sitting, but not if I'm trying to have my bum in the air.
That's right. When the bum comes in the air, it just gets harder still. And so, yeah.
What happens
Sorry.
that aren't flexible enough to keep a long back and the legs on the floor? Like people that, most of my students have to sit on something, and it gets really hard if you lift if you're sitting up high.
Well, we started it doing it.
Yeah.
Just doing it here, and then
Yes,
one could even
Right. Okay.
from there. I guess I can,
Yeah. There you go.
Get the legs coming up a bit. Yeah. So there we go. That's good. Yeah. Thank you for that. So there's the start of the L-sit itself. Yeah. Just for a moment. Thank you for that, Sarah. Sarah, it's great having you in the class. Okie doke. Let's just do a few bunny hops, which are a perfectly easy move. And the game with bunny hops is to stay stable, because again, you're just in there and you're going to jump forwards and back. And again, how sort of wobbly is the whole system, or can you stabilize it? PSAS to ASAS, get the psoas doing the work. Head still leads, so that everything stays really stable and strong as you do it. So just being aware of any instability in the system, and see if you can hold the tone to keep it stable. Nice. Okay. And then there's a mad variant from that, which is called a frog, which I cannot demonstrate properly yet. But you start in a full squat with your knees either side, extend the hands in front of you, and then kick up like a frog. And ideally, one should be much more stable up there and coming down, but I've only just started on this one. So you're in this position, your elbows are between your hands are between your knees. Your hands want to be way outstretched in front of you. That's it. And then when you land, bring it in closer. So we should land backwards. That's it.
The arms outside or inside the knees?
So the arms are inside the knees. And then when you kick up, and then come back to where you started. That's it. Nice, Sarah. Yes, and then stretch the arms out again and see if again you can kick up and bring the arms. Wait, I took it the wrong way. I took my arms inside, outside. So this is one again I need to play with. That's nice, Anadora. Yeah. Yay, Micah. It really looks frog-like. It's super. Hey! Maybe I'm about to down. Okay. Finish with a handstand, just because. Anyone up for a handstand who hasn't got a head cold or coronavirus? Or, so what Sarah was showing me last time was really to let the legs draw so that we are, again, we're doing this fold. I'm really pulling the hips in so that the whole thing can go up in one piece. And it doesn't matter if the hips go behind, the hips are getting behind the line of the head, because it gives you the position from which to get the legs over the body, and then you can straighten them. And when you're ready, fold down again in the same way. So that again, we can come slowly back to the ground.
Bravo!
Thank you very much. Did anyone else do it while I wasn't looking?
No,
We were hearing you.
yeah, all full of awe and admiration.
Anyone going to have a go? Do it
You can
against the
also
wall.
You can also try bending the legs and really feeling the psoas engaged.
And that is the first step, is just to, if you can't go with the legs straight yet, bend the legs in, but see if you can be drawing it up from the inside. You're not just kicking up, you're seeing if you can draw the legs over the body. And that's the challenge here, because, you know, anyone can kick up. Well, a lot of people can kick up, but it's seeing whether you really can draw the legs into play. That's it, Anadora, that's it. Just now keep drawing that psoas up inside. Yeah, just draw the psoas up inside, and that will stabilize the torso. That's it. Just keep stabilizing it. Take your time. Now draw it up the inside. Draw the inside up. Draw it up the inside. That's it. And then see if the legs will go up.
I did that some years ago, but I just learned it.
You've unlearned. I know that happens, doesn't it? It's such a bummer.
Yeah, I could do it, but now it's gone.
Yes,
So.
yes. Well, and so you know you can do it potentially. You know, I couldn't do it when I came back to it, and then Sarah gave you the key. It's okay to let the hips come behind the head. That's it. So let your hips come behind your head a bit. That's it. Just draw them back. Draw them back. Are you safe, by the way, if you roll over into a forward bend? You're not going to hit a table or something?
You mean there?
Yes.
No,
That's
I
fine.
just break my neck, but doesn't matter.
Oh, that's okay.
And my spine.
I'm just fine. Yeah, that's why I'm saying doing it against a wall, but
Well, I'm too cautious to go too far anyway.
right, okay, that's all right. I mean, what you're looking for is that moment of engagement where you can feel the torso, just as we've been doing in L-sit, where the torso is drawing the legs. It's the same thing here. We want the torso drawing the legs. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Keep having a go. Keep
Yeah.
having a go. Do it against a wall, and then you're safe.
Yeah.
And then you know that you can just take it to that next step of taking the hips back,
Yeah.
so that you're a bit more counterbalanced. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope our two invalids in the group haven't been too worn out by that. All right.
I love the animal movements. That's really cool.
They're fun, aren't they? I only discovered that video last night, so I sort of rather scrambled those ones in there. But there's some to, I'll certainly find some more for next week, for next time, which is our 10th. Just looking ahead, shall we do another 10?
Sure.
Or, right, we got one vote. Any more votes for another 10? I might just sort of replay the first group and just embellish them a bit, because you know, it's but we just sort of keep the themes running.
Do you have two groups with
No, we've only got one group. But if you remember, you were in the group we ran from March to August, weren't you? So
but do we have still some passive members now, or is it this is all of us? I know Hannah.
There's 10 people. Alison can't get in. Brian has never been able to get in, and he said that right from the start, he couldn't get in. Who else? Hannes isn't here today. Can't remember who else is on the list.
Yuki, wasn't he there too?
Sorry?
Wasn't Kazuyuki there too?
Kazuyuki, that's right.
Kazuyuki?
It's 1 in the morning or something stupid for him. I'm just amazed at how many classes he does come to. And Aida, she's the other one. Yes, they were all people from the second advanced group that we did. Yeah, so there are. So we'll find out who else wants to join in, if anyone else. But as long as we have 8 or 10 of us, I mean, I just love playing with you guys. So
the only thing I would like to propose is sometimes when I'm redoing the video, the last times it feels a bit like we're experimenting, which is really nice. But for workout, now and then it would be nice to have more some kind of flow. You know what I mean? That, you know, okay, now we do this, now we do this. But it's more like, okay, I do workout for myself, and when I've done that, it's more like one going. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily so many different things, but that's more like a round thing that you can do over and over again. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, who's up for that?
Not always, but now and then that would be really nice.
Yeah, okay. Because I did start to put together a fitness flow for one for every day of the week some while ago. So I'll dig those out because I've got some notes on it.
That would be really great, because sometimes I feel like I don't really get in a flow, because then it's an interruption and something new, and now we do this and now we do that. And
okay, so that takes the pressure off me doing new stuff every time, because I sometimes feel
you don't have to. No.
Yeah, thank you. So and it's fun to do new stuff.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I think it's nice to have a flow, but I also think it's nice to keep this group, since we are working together for so long now, to also investigate and to also find new connections. And
that's why
I don't know, for instance, now, I mean, we all, lass mich doch mal ausreden. I think we all see how we develop in this process, and for instance, today, finding this transition from here down, what we were, I mean, it's bits and pieces are coming more and more together, and I think this is so valuable. And then you can still also find your own fitness flow. I mean, I enjoyed having a flow, of course. I mean, but I think this group has also for me, it's a big benefit to also investigate a little bit and try out things.
I think
bring it always a little bit further.
Yeah, and I think we can do both actually, because the sort of the flows I was thinking of will be about 20 minutes, which is a perfect sort of timing to take home and practice.
Sure.
20 minutes is a good sort of, you know, something to do 3 times a week or daily, for those who are really keen. So we could do a flow of
Yeah.
20 minutes, and then investigate new stuff, put new flows together that then we can take into a flow another time.
And we could even agree on, okay, now's the flow, and only interrupt if it's really necessary, so that we know now's the flow and we don't try not to interrupt.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
that's, and for the flow, I can also put it on Spotlight.
What
And
is
then I'm not even trying to watch it.
Oh, right. Spotlight, it's just on you, right?
If I put it on Spotlight, then it will just show as me on your video.
All right. Yeah.
And you won't be trying to follow me in a set of little boxes. It'll just be me. And I'm not even trying to watch you. So I'm not checking that everybody's keeping up. We're just doing the flow. And then once the flow's done, we can come back and talk about it. And
that's a great idea.
Is that a good idea?
Super. I like it.
Right. Good. Okay, that's nice. So a 20-minute flow. So if we do a warm up first, and then we do a 20-minute of get our spatial awareness and things going, and then we do the 20-minute flow, and then we do other stuff.
Yeah. Then we investigate or repeat things or ask or
play with being a frog or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, lovely. Yeah, it'd be really nice to take it forward, because again, I'm watching you all. I mean, I think the high boat, low boat, I mean, certainly whether it was just me going, wow, I can do this now. But I think each week I'm seeing people getting a bit stronger. And, you know, I think it is, yeah, even the super fit Sarah, are you?
No, so much to work on. So much to work on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And there's so many different ways of moving the body, isn't there? I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
And I think just to have the time frame of bringing really together spatial awareness and all that preparation stuff in the fitness, it's so precious. And often if you are alone for yourself, you don't take this time that precisely to build that all up. I mean, we work on it, I think, all of us, but still, to just throw yourself in and have you talking us through is just nice, enjoyable. And you see in yourself where you get and how precise you can become in certain.
No, I was very aware just now doing the sort of doing the prone to cobra, for instance. If I didn't think those vestibular directions first, it just didn't happen in the same way. So when you rewatch the video, you'll see me start up and go back down again. No, didn't do the prep. It's so easy just to go into the move, and it's like, no, stop and do the prep first, do the thinking, and then off we go. Yeah. Lovely. Okay. Oh, it's I mean, I love these groups because they're such a development for all of us, aren't they? They're just yeah. Okay, well, next time is our last one for now then. What should we do? Let's look at diaries. I mean, should we just dive straight in, or should we take a fortnight break? What should we, because it's the next one is the 18th of February, so we just could carry on and do the next one on the 10th of March and not bother to try and take a gap, just to sort of say, well, let's just go, just keep going. What do people want to do? Because then let me just have a look at how that would work. 2 in March, 2 in April, 2 in May, 2 in June, 2 in July. And that means we could do a set of 10 by the end of July.
Yeah, sounds good.
I think July is difficult for me to participate, but
we have holidays.
Yeah, we have holidays.
That's right, so you do. But you'll get the recordings. I mean, we could do 8 if people prefer, but I think 10 is always a nice number. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sarah, are you good for July?
Are we do it like a 6 weeks break, middle of July until end of August, and then we continue, or I don't know what we do. We get the recordings, and that's fine too.
Okay. And we're all getting together at the Berliners. I'll see you all in Berlin in August as well. So yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put together a little flyer and we'll see how many people go for that. And we can say we can either do the July ones in July, or we can hold them off to September. But if that feels right at the time.
Well, I'm definitely in. I love this group.
Oh, good, thank you. And Micah, you're in?
Yes.
Yeah, Sarah?
I'll do my best. I'll try. Let me
Okay.
think.
Let you think about it. Iffy, do you know?
Yes, yes. I probably will miss some live meetings, but I'm in.
Good, lovely, thank you. Okay, precious people. Thank you.
Thank
Have fun.
Thank you, Penelope.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Bye.